Okay, so I'm probably gonna do something that I regret. I'm gonna regret in the morning, but that's not the first time. Anyway, alrighty, so what we have here, is that we have the port injection stuff already set up. We have it set up mechanically. I'm not going to go into that because that's not the scope of what we're doing, but essentially we have the feed line in the back going up through the flex fuel sensor. The flex fuel sensor from there feeds the port injection rail, and then thusly goes back up into the high pressure pump. So it's pretty cut and dry. Again, that's not the scope of it, but what we're going to start doing is we're going to go ahead and start wiring up our flex fuel sensor for the port injectors. Our flex fuel sensor is mounted right here onto the battery box here. So we're just going to plug this sucker in and then start wiring everything up. Alrighty, so as you guys can see, we've got a whole mess of spaghetti wiring here. The only thing that I have hooked up right now though is the cam and crank sensors, 4 injectors, and then I've tapped into the map sensor. I've had to kind of play around with the scaling on the map, and it looks pretty correct from what I can tell. As you can see, we've got the access port running, and these are the fuel trims here. So you guys may or may not know, but the way fuel trims work is that if it's trying to hit this 14.7 target, and then it'll dance around and move just to kind of get it where it needs to go. So right now we're going to add some fuel here. Let's try 20 on the VE table. There's a couple blenders in place right now, so it's running 16. Doesn't seem like it's doing anything too much. Let's go ahead and ramp it up to 30. At 30, we're starting to go a little bit negative from where we were at. So let's pick that up to 40. And so right at 40, you can see that the short-term fuel tables have dropped significantly to try to maintain the 14.7 here. So I'm gonna pull out some more. Let's go to 45 here. Let's see. Let's go to 50. And so you can see 15 is basically maxed out as far as it'll go, which is negative 20, like 30% basically. And you can see that the AFRs are struggling. So let's go ahead and hit it up to 70. Okay, so that's basically the limit there. So let's go ahead and put that down. And you'll see that as I turn that to 0, you can see that the fuel trims are now dancing around because it's unsure of what exactly happened here. So you see it went from the far extreme of adding and removing. So now we have proof of concept. We know that it works. There's a couple other things that we need to wire up though before we can move forward. I do want to mention that flex fuel currently is reading. We don't have the wideband in just yet. So we're not really playing around with that, but like I said, proof of concept, it works. So far, everything that we've done has been reversible, as far as like tapping sensors and stuff like that. This is going to be the only non-reversible mod, and we're going to basically just trim the fuse box cover just a little bit. We're going to route the power wire through this little gap here, and so we're going to just cut this little section out here just to have a spot for the wire to feed through. All right, so as you can see, I have made a small cut here with our Dremel tool. And like I said, that's the only non-reversible mod, and I think that's going to be a small thing to deal with here. So essentially, we've got this fuse tap for power, where all of our power wires are running out of, and then you can obviously see the ground for the port controller is also mounted on the fuse box. So let's see if we can try to get this in here. So as you can see, we've got everything all bundled up, all the wires kind of relatively neatly attached. We're going to go ahead and just test it out. We're not going to add any ethanol or anything like that. We're just going to leave it as is. I'm going to drive it for tonight and tomorrow, and make sure that the car runs good, that there's nothing interfering with anything. And if everything looks good, tomorrow morning we'll start adding ethanol to it. All right, I guess I've got half a tank here. A little under half a tank, so I guess the car seems to be running fine, no codes. So I guess now we're just going to put some E85 in it, and let's see what happens. All right, so I got about 4 gallons of E85 in it. I didn't want to go too crazy because I need to make sure that everything is working functionally. And the thing is that if it does not work out and the car starts running like goofy, I can hopefully top it off with 93 and then at least get the car running halfway decent. Oh, already doesn't like it. So it seems like it already doesn't like it. Or maybe not. Maybe it's something else. Anyways, I'm gonna pull over here just to get out of everyone else's way. Oh yeah. So I can already feel that the car is not digging whatever we just added to it. So fuel trim actually went completely negative, and I'm not too sure why. I don't think that anything is active at the moment. Maybe it is. Well, I can't officially explain it at the moment. Right now, with half a tank and then adding 4 gallons of ethanol, and it actually is running fine. Fuel trims don't look crazy or anything like that, which I expected it would be actually. And I'm actually not sure why it started up all goofy. Just a minute ago, it started up and the trims went completely negative. And I don't know, maybe that was heat soak or something, but something definitely was very strange about that. But currently, fuel trims look pretty normal. So I'm gonna drive it for a little bit, try to find what I'm gonna have for dinner, and from there we'll check the ethanol content. Now, when I plugged into the laptop earlier, or into the port injector controller with the laptop, ethanol content was still at 10. And so it doesn't really surprise me that the ethanol sensor only read 10%. Just like I tell everybody, you know, you gotta give it 10 minutes or so or whatever for it to fully mix. But strangely enough, like I said, right now the fuel trims don't look really that far out. It actually looks pretty normal from what I normally see. And so what I say normal is you know, plus or minus 15, plus or minus 10 on an older car. On a newer car, plus or minus 15. That's adding short-term and long-term fuel trims together, is what I consider somewhat normal. Right now though, I can see that the fuel trims are now starting to go a little bit more to the extreme side. So that tells me that the ethanol is currently burning through the system now. So like I said, I'm gonna find a place where I'm gonna eat lunch at, or dinner at rather, and then I'll go ahead and I'll make adjustments to the laptop to see kind of where we're at in ethanol content. Right now though, it does seem to be driving fine. I may not even make any changes if it doesn't really warrant it at the moment. All right, so driving around, our fuel trims I think are starting to get a little bit on the more excessive side now. So we're starting to hover around plus or minus 15. And there were some spots that were like starting to see 20% corrections, which is definitely like right now, which I think is like more than what I would recommend in terms of fuel trim. So that tells me that the fuel system is probably starting to mix now. And what I'm going to do is, I unfortunately still have not found what I want to eat for dinner. So I'm just going to pull over somewhere and I'm going to plug into the laptop really quick here and just kind of see where our ethanol content sits. And then, you know, we'll make some changes to see how the car drives now. Okay, so I'm probably going to do something that I regret. I'm going to regret in the morning, but that's not the first time. Anyways, so the car is actually running really, really good on a quarter tank of ethanol. We've got another quarter tank here that we're going to just fill it up. So we're gonna have a half tank of ethanol and we're gonna see kind of where we're at. Like I said, it's running good. The long-term fuel trim started to set, and because they set, the car actually was running fine. So what was happening was I'd go wide open throttle and the car would run pretty bad, and now it's running okay. All right, so we've got 8 gallons of ethanol in this now. I just put 4 earlier and then another 4 here, but I don't know what the actual content is. Unfortunately, I did get it from 2 different gas stations here. So I'm not sure what the overall content's going to be. I'm actually kind of freaked out, honestly. So the fuel trims are definitely acting all goofy right now. We've got the fuel trim just moving up and down all sorts of different ways. Like you can see that they're currently canceling each other out. But I think that's actually like a heat soak type issue more so than anything. I think it's just when you shut the car off, it heat soaks, and then, you know, the programming gets all goofy, which is really common in tuning cars, but it happens so quickly that most people don't even notice it. So anyways, I'm gonna head back into town, so that gives me another 10-minute drive or so, and then we'll see how it looks afterwards. Believe it or not, this is the highest I've actually ever seen the fuel trims go. Like, we are about adding 30% more fuel in some areas it's averaging probably somewhere around 20 to 30, probably like 20 to 25, I think. It's kind of like where we're averaging overall in terms of fuel trim. So I'm actually kind of surprised that it hasn't thrown a check engine light yet. All right, so I figured out why when I restarted the car after filling up, why it started to run really bad. That's actually because the cranking fuel was still set up here, even though it shouldn't have been adding anything just yet. And for those who are wondering, we ended up at E53 here. So I'm gonna go ahead and preemptively add a little bit of fuel here just to see if we can get the fuel trims down. So I'm gonna run out here and get the car started up. So we got the access port just kind of hanging out on the windshield for them at the moment. We'll let it run for a couple seconds here and then see what the trims do. But the injectors are in fact doing injector stuff at the moment. Trims are actually starting to normalize here a little bit. So I think we're gonna leave it here for a little bit and I'll take the drive home to see. But the trims are starting to kind of act normal here instead of being super crazy where it was like in the 30s, 25 or 30s. Maybe we're bringing a little bit of fuel out of it just to make sure that it's good to go. So now we do know that the ECU will trim a ton for fueling now, something that I did not know before. So let's bring it down just a hair. Actually, I lied. We're gonna bring it up. The AFRs are kind of going crazy at the moment inside here. So let's bring it up some more to see if we can kind of get it normaled out here. Okay. All right, I think that's a happy medium right there for E43. I reset the cranking fuel as well, and so hopefully that changes a little bit more. Okay, no more misfires, so that's a plus there. So maybe it was too much fuel at the moment. Trims are kind of sky high at the moment in the negative, which is a good sign. So I think we'll call that good at the moment. All right, so I just got home. My drive is pretty short, I think, from the restaurant, but you can see that the trims, if you kind of do like some quick math, is that it's basically plus or minus 10 if you try to add these together. So it's actually pretty damn close, I think. So far so good. The car runs relatively okay. Is it perfect? No, definitely not. All right, so it's a bit cooler outside. 73. Last I checked, we were like E55. Let's see what the first start's like here. Not bad. Seems to start just fine on E55. So I'm sure you guys are probably not going to be able to see the access port here, but I'm going to go ahead and do a quick fourth gear pull here to see how it runs. So it looks like I could lean it out I can lean it out a bit at the top there, but as you can see, for the most part, it runs pretty damn good.
The next day.
So after a couple days of dialing in E50, I think I finally got it running pretty good here. So the biggest thing that I was struggling with in terms of tuning it on our port injector system is that the factory fuel trims would run amok. So if you look here, and so what I've learned is that it doesn't take a lot of time for the fuel system to adjust. So what I mean by that is that the best way that I've learned to tune it is actually to make one setting, and one setting only, on the fuel table on the port injector side. Let the car run and drive until the long-term fuel trim set. So there is a bit of driving that needs to be done, but once you get the long-term fuel trim set, then you can actually interpolate those changes onto the port injector controller side. So there's a bit of work and fiddling that needs to be done, but the car actually runs pretty damn good. I spent a bit of time on it, and what I mean by that is that I spent enough time driving to and from work and then setting it all up for E50. So Have I gotten like an actual solid dialed in tune? Not just yet. But again, like I said multiple times already, is that we need to get it set up on, we need to get the fuel to E80 before we can actually start tuning it. So I've gotten it just enough where the car runs and drives. We've got a couple of check engine lights, but this car has always given me check engine lights, mainly on misfire. If you let it idle for too long, it'll misfire. Go ahead and nail it in a second here so you guys can see. Actually, I don't want this guy to think I'm racing. All right, here we go. So you see that first initial sputter there? That's because that the long-term fuel trims are too high in certain areas where it needs to be leaned out. So that's why we need to get the long-term fuel trims actually dialed in completely, so that way we don't get that sputter. But once, as you can see, once it exceeds that first initial stab, everything goes well. And that could be an issue from the port controller adding too much fuel at that specific point because it's not fully mapped out or not enough. I'm not really too sure at this point. The thing is that on the access port, it does, for that split second, it reads lean. But you guys, if you've been tuning before or have been dealing with this stuff, you know that if you get a misfire, the wideband's going to read lean. So I really think it's actually on the rich side, which is what's causing it, just because that it is consistent. So I really think that's an issue with the long-term fuel trims.